The moment you've all been waiting for. Nvidia earnings are out and they absolutely crushed it. Now, expectations were sky high. In my 25 years of investing, I haven't seen anything like this. The entire market is riding on Nvidia earnings and guidance. Not even back in the dot-com bubble with Cisco did we see anything quite like this. And many of you have been speculating about this, and I've got some huge news I'll share regarding a stock split for Nvidia. Let's break down the earnings highlights and look at a chart. I'll tell you where I think the stock is headed next. So as of right now, the stock is up slightly. It was up about 5%. Now it's up about 2.5%. You can see it's at $972 after hours. We are going to have the earnings call, and the stock could move either direction off of news. Market cap right now is over $2.35 trillion. That PE ratio, the 12 months trailing, is 79. That number is going down because Nvidia keeps crushing earnings. It also pays a small dividend yield, 0.17%. That 52-week high, $974. We're back basically at that level right now. 52-week low, $298. Now, year to date, it's up about 100%. In 1 year, over 200, basically 210% plus. And in 5 years, Nvidia is up 2,516%. So headline, hot off the presses, Nvidia reports a 262% jump in sales, signals continuing AI boom. Of course, this is good for AI-related stocks and really the markets as a whole. So Q1 non-GAAP EPS, $6.12. That beat by 54 cents. Revenue, $26.04 billion. That's up 262.2% year over year. That's a staggering number. 262% on top of already strong growth. That beat by $1.45 billion. Record quarterly data center revenue, $22.6 billion. That's up 23% from Q4 and up 427% from a year ago. Now here's the big news. 10-for-1 stock split effective June 7th, 2024. If you're not familiar with the stock split, essentially what happens if you own a share of Nvidia right now, you're going to get 10 shares for that one share. That'll automatically happen in your brokerage account. You don't have to do anything. Now, if you cut a pizza into 100 slices, it's still one pizza. But the thing about stock splits, it does create pin action. It allows you to have more contracts. You think of options contracts. You need 100 shares for one contract. Of course, when a stock is $1,000, it's hard to buy 100 shares. So after the stock split, you're talking about $100 a share. It's much simpler. You still own the same amount of Nvidia. It's not like you own more of the company. It's just cut up into more pieces. And of course, psychologically, especially retail investors, they love stock splits because a lot of times they think they're buying more, they own more of the company, which isn't true. But it does allow people to buy more shares, and there is a big psychological impact that often makes the stock go higher. Quarterly cash dividend raised 150%. That sounds like a great number, but that's 1 cent per share on a post-split basis, so still a very small percentage yield. So revenue expectations on the outlook, $28 billion. The consensus is $26.84 billion. So this is a beat on the top and bottom lines and a raise on the guidance. This is an absolute beast of a quarter. Let's look at some more information and a chart. I'll tell you where I think this stock could go next. If you're subscribed to this channel, you know about Blackwell. If you're not subscribed, smash that button right now. But unveiled the Nvidia Blackwell platform to fuel a new era of AI computing, trillion parameter scale, and the Blackwell-powered DGX SuperPod for generative AI supercomputing. Announced Nvidia Quantum and Nvidia Spectrum switches. You know, the name Quantum is a little bit misleading, but that's one thing you have to keep an eye on. I think the next phase at some point here is going to be quantum computing with Nvidia. So we know data center revenue crushed it, up 23% from the previous quarter, 427% from a year ago. What about gaming and AI PCs? First quarter gaming revenue, $2.6 billion. That's down 8% from the previous quarter, up 18% from a year ago. So it is improving, but still not great numbers there. Professional visualization, first quarter revenue, $427 million, also down 8% from the previous quarter, but up 45% from a year ago. Automotive, and this is an area I think Nvidia could be huge in. A lot of TAM here, and it's very small in terms of their revenue percentage right now. First quarter automotive revenue, $329 million. So again, very small. Up 17% from previous quarter and up 11% from a year ago. To me, that's positive seeing 17% growth, considering that automotive has really been beaten down. So some huge partnerships in here like BYD and others chosen the next generation NVIDIA Drive Thor platform, which now features Blackwell GPU architecture. In the last video I did on NVIDIA, I also mentioned they're getting more into CPUs. Now, the primary reason they're getting the CPUs is really to make that monster stack that full solution for AI from A to Z, all the nuts and bolts, all the pieces, including the software. Again, guys, this is about the full stack, not just the GPUs. So I think the CPUs are going to be primarily used for data center to really complete that puzzle. Now, with that said, Nvidia could get more into personal PCs. So when you think of CPUs, you generally think of an AMD or an Intel. Now, Microsoft just announced the new AI Copilot PC. That's going to be powered by Qualcomm, but Microsoft did announce that both AMD and Intel chips will be available later on. And it will be interesting to see how Nvidia attacks that space when you think of CPUs. The other term that you have to be familiar with now is NPUs. And NPUs essentially allows you to do more processing on the device versus in the cloud. Now, one quick last breakdown. I want to show you some unique KPIs. This is on Megacharts. I've showed you Megacharts a couple different times on the channel. It's now absolutely free. I encourage you to use this site. There's a link that's pinned in the comments. Go check it out. But this is breaking down revenue by segment for Nvidia. And you can see that data center is absolutely just beastly, how it's grown so much from 2019. R&D expenses also climbing as well. And you say, well, that's not necessarily good, but at the same time, you want a company like Nvidia to stay cutting edge on innovation. And when you look at the R&D spend versus percentage of revenue, that's actually come down because they're absolutely crushing it. Really interesting here. This is breaking down revenue by geography. You can see the US dominates, but you do have Taiwan, China, and other countries. Let's look at a chart. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that bell for notifications. And if this video was helpful, drop a like and a comment. Let me know where you think Nvidia stock is headed next. Now, Jensen Huang has made a lot of people rich. A lot of millionaires have been made off Nvidia stock. Now, I've been fortunate enough to own this stock since 2017. The cost base is in the 30s, but you don't care about that. You care, hey, where's this stock going? You might own the stock and you want to know if it's going to go higher or if you should sell it, or you might be wanting to get into Nvidia stock. You're probably hoping for a sell-off and you're wondering, hey, should I buy it here at $983 after hours? If you follow this channel, I've been telling you for a while that this will break $1,000 in 2024. Now, I'm usually not quite that bold. I'm not one of those YouTubers that tries to pretend they have a crystal ball. I just have extreme confidence, and I have really since the beginning of this year, that Nvidia would break $1,000 a share. Now, I said it's probably going to need earnings to do that, and I think this stock split will take it over the edge. You know, looking at this R3 up here, it's 1,012. The stock is, of course, running hot. This trend line's down here at, $560. The 200-day moving average is 625. 100-day moving average, 775. The 50-day down here at $883. Now you can see the old R3 was 1,070. And this is from chart day this morning. And what we talked about here is that at some point this cycle is going to end. Now this cycle is not even close to being done, but there will be an end to it. So this is going out to say 2026. The stock could do something. This is a hypothetical. The stock could do something like this and climb higher, find a plateau, trade sideways for a while, climb higher again. And this is just a rough drawing to give you an idea. It's not technical or anything like that. But at some point, that cycle is going to end. And that growth is going to slow down because you can't just keep getting 200% growth on top of 200% growth. It's not possible. Once all these mega cap tech companies bake out the data center, you're going to see a cycle here. That cycle is going to come to an end. The stock eventually will fall. And, it could do something like go up to $1,500 a share and then drop down to $1,000 or $1,200 later on. If you remember during the work from home movement, we had all these stocks that had pull through. And then that cycle ends. You know what happens to the stock. This will have some sort of cycle, but I am very bullish on Nvidia long term. I think the stock's going to push higher. It's first got to break that $1,000 mark. I don't think it's just going to go in a straight line, but eventually it'll get up to $1,250 a share. And I do think that $1,500 is a possibility, but it will take time. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like and comment. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.